What's up, guys? Today on Sports Central, we'll be going over our final video of the 2019 offseason, and it's going to be a final prediction on the Tennessee Volunteers. This team last season overall was kind of a disappointment for me. I expected this team to do much better than they did, but of course, having a new coach in Tennessee and having all the adjustments there, it kind of was bound to happen. But today we're going to be going over a final prediction on here on Tennessee. Once again, as I said before, this is our final video of this offseason. We're going to be going over our first videos of the 2019 season here in a couple of days with some rankings. I'll go over more news on that in a couple of minutes. But Guarantano returns at quarterback here for Tennessee. They return the top running backs Chandler and Jordan, top wide receivers Callaway and Jennings as well. Really, this offense is really bound to have a great season. They're returning a whole bunch of their players from last season. Very young offense was last season. I mean, this team was very inexperienced on both sides of the ball. Offense ranked 124th overall in 2018 in the FBS. That is almost last. There are 128 teams in the FBS, so that puts you in the bottom 5. So yeah, this offense was absolutely horrendous last season. While having very few losses make this offense a strength in 2019, I think it's going to help. I don't know if it'll be a strength next season, but I do believe that this team will have a much better offense. It all depends on the defense, though, as well. You can't forget about that. They return their top linebacker and Petuli and their defensive back Warrior, so that is going to be helpful there. Lose their third top defender, Phillips. Defense ranked 48th overall in 2018. I mean, this defense, once again, is young as well on both sides of the ball. We're very inexperienced last season. This defense will probably be the strength of this team next year. They're going to really need to use their defense to get to win some games, and then you're going to have the offense, of course, as well do well. But really, the offense will improve as well. This team overall should improve quite a bit. I do expect them to make a bowl game next season. Bowl game possibility. I mean, 5-7 is already a pretty tough record for Tennessee. I mean, we've seen this team consistently make bowl games over the past decade or so. Really, I mean, how much can this team improve? Really, the sky's the limit for this team, considering they're returning almost all their starters on both sides of the ball. A ton of potential is with this team next season, and I think people are going to see that early on when they beat Georgia State, BYU, and Chattanooga. I think all three of those games are going to be easier wins. BYU is going to be probably the game that you're going to need to watch out for most out of those three, but having them at home, I think, is probably going to be the key thing there. They got Florida and Georgia, though, two very tough opponents the next couple weeks. Well, you got a bye week in between those two games, but of course, Florida, that's going to be too tough of a game, I think, for this team. I mean, they're still going to be a young team here in 2019, and so really, I mean, Florida trying to win that game on the road, it's going to be really tough, especially for the beginning of the year. Georgia, kind of the same way. I think that'll be a little bit of a closer game than Florida will be, just because it's at home, so that's going to be pretty helpful. There, but I don't expect them to beat Georgia here next season yet. Mississippi State, then, that's going to be another tough game, but I think that's going to probably be your signature win of the regular season, because Mississippi State's going to be kind of a sneaky team next year. They're going to get some big wins, and so having that Mississippi State win is going to be great for the resume. Then you got Alabama the next week on the road. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I mean, you may want an upset there, but with it being on the road and stuff, and Alabama's going to be a team that's going to continue to be great next year. That's just going to be too tough of a game. Then you got yet another tough game, South Carolina at home. That's going to be a team that I do expect to be very improved this year. South Carolina gets the win there. UAB then at home, you get an easy win there, kind of a break week almost. Then you have to go to Kentucky, and as much as you're going to want to win that game and possibly set yourself up for an 8-4 record, I think Kentucky's just, I mean, I don't expect them to be as good as they were last season. I mean, this team was like ranked top 15 for a good chunk of last year. But Kentucky, I think it's going to be a tough game. Tennessee doesn't end up winning it with it being on the road. And then you got Missouri the next week, another road game. Actually, now you got to buy in between Kentucky and Missouri again. Missouri, I think you're going to get a close win there. That's going to be a great win. Probably your best road game. Well, actually, probably your only road win of the season. But yeah, that'll still be a good win, especially since Missouri, I do expect to be a much improved team as well next year. Vanderbilt then the next week, easy win there. Overall, Tennessee is going to go 7-5 next year. Really, I mean, if you can get 7 wins, and then you also can get a bowl win, really that's a successful season for Tennessee next year. considering they're pretty inexperienced. I think though in 2020, I mean, I was looking at the players and how young they were. I mean, most of the players on this team are actually just going into their junior year. Really, for Tennessee, I think in 2020, this could be a possible team that could surprise some people. If they do well this season, if they get the 7-8 wins and possibly get a bowl win, I think this is going to be a team you're going to need to watch out for in the 2020 season. I mean, especially in the SEC, this team could make a run. I mean, kind of considering they did terrible last season, you might not expect that. But really for Tennessee, I mean, very young team, and they're going to be improving over the next couple of years. They got a great coach as well now. It'll be interesting to see how they do over the next few years. This is going to be a team to watch out for, is what I really do believe. Anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts on Tennessee in the comments below. Will this team miss a bowl game again? Will they make one? Let me know. Once again, though, guys, this is our last video of this offseason. It's overall been a great one. Thank you guys all so much for sticking with me and helping me build this channel over the offseason. I think we've raised about 120 subscribers, which really that's pretty good for an offseason, I would say, considering I'm kind of starting from scratch here. We're at 160 now, as we're going to continue trying to build this channel over the season. I'm looking forward to seeing how much we can grow over the season, so be sure to stay tuned. Subscribe if you'd like to. We're going to be going over some rankings and previews coming up over the next couple days. We're going to be preparing you guys for week 0 just before we get into week 1 coming next week. Once again, guys, thank you guys all for sticking through me with this offseason. And yeah, stay tuned for more from All Sports Central.